Hi, I'm Adam Abraham. Over the last couple of weeks, I have spent a lot of time in the car going back and forth to Los Angeles, to Glendale, California, to meet the founders of Vista Network, as well as the developer of their new industry-changing technology called the Mini Miner. This is a term that will also, this is a product that would also be described, rightly so, as a box miner, because it's a little box. Once I have one, you'll actually see it. This is an eagerly anticipated product, which I haven't received mine yet, okay? But they are now becoming available. They are now in the process of shipping. And so in a way of speaking, I'm saying this, in fact, I'm doing this somewhat in jest, because this also indicates how early in the game this is. Last year I learned about Bitcoin and its phenomena and what it is, and I went on a roller coaster, as many people have, in moving into the space. I literally felt that I was a late comer to this party, so to speak. And the truth of the matter is 90+% of the population is still not in this space at all. And many of the ways that are common and normal in the crypto space in terms of interactions are actually foreign to most people. They are different. They're unfamiliar. And so many are hesitant to move into this space, and their hesitancy is also helped by, the shapers of public opinion. But nonetheless, common sense is telling everyone who looks at this objectively that this is a place to be. There's something of value here that, can only be gained if you're in it. So Vista Network's introduction of the Mini Miner is something that is groundbreaking too, because while mining is fundamental to the process of introducing new coins into a circulation, for example, Bitcoin will have 20 million coins total, period, and over 17 million or so, all that is checkable online. But as of this moment, as far as I recall, at least 17 million or so have already been mined, while the rest of those will come over by the year 2150. And so this is a process that's going to continue to happen, and this also applies to other altcoins. The point here is that with the Vista Mini Miner, the mining process, with all of its technicalities and expense and everything else, is simplified tremendously in a very, very big way. It is variously, for all practical purposes, a plug-and-play system, or device, should I say. You can carry it with you and plug it in, and you can use it wherever you go. So in this video, I want to introduce to you Armin Tamurian, CEO of Vista Network, Louis Amaya, Chief Operating Officer. These are co-founders. And also, which took me a second trip down there and almost a week to do, but to the man who is known simply as Raj, who developed not only the Mini Miner, but he also developed the Vista Smart Pool. It turns out that those two pieces work together to make a very synergistic puzzle that helps both to operate perhaps and perform better than either would on their own. Now that's my supposition, but nonetheless, here they are. So essentially, Vista is introducing, you refer to it as a mini miner. If I were to give it a term, looks like I call it a mining terminal. I'd call it an interface. I might even call it an appliance. but essentially it is a device that will work synergistically with the Vista Network mining pool. Is that correct?
That's very correct. We are calling this our mini miner, the Mini Miner 1. Vista's Mini Miner is a device. It's a little mining machine. It's a portable mining machine that an individual can have, and at the convenience of their home, plug and play and start mining on their own. Start plugging into a very smart pool called the Vista Smart Pool, and bring the mining proceeds and benefits directly into their wallets. It will be about 40 altcoins that you have the choice to mine. You will decide which coin that is best suits you, and you'll choose the coin, and you'll just press start and put your receiving wallet and Vista Smart Pool connected to your mini miner machine will start mining that particular coin.
So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I think it's genius. I think what our developer Raj and here the people at Vista have put together has really created a special moment for people to really engage. And since we launched the idea of the mini miner to be marketed, to be available to the people, after we completed successful beta in the fourth quarter of last year, 2017, you can't imagine what kind of a response we have gotten or received from the marketplace. It's kind of like a survey, you throw it out there and then you see how people will react. Their response has been incredible, just incredible. We never thought that people would actually understand how powerful this is, how important this is, and then call to action, not just call to action, but show up, and this is amazing, it's truly amazing.
They saw, they had the resources, and then they started investing in equipment that could grab and solve those problems faster than others, and that means they started getting more of the booty, so to speak, than someone else. And so it began an escalation, but then and competition, but then that also became to start to have few big players instead of many smaller ones.
Exactly, and around 2 years ago, most of the companies are saying there's no money in mining. Don't go there. Go to trading. Do something else. There's no money in mining. Yet we had our mining machines and we were making money. They say, wait a minute, why are these guys saying there's no mining? And then, we're over here making, there's something going on, And then once we figure it out, why don't we just go ahead and, take mining to every house, every individual, and let them control the destiny of their mining. That means that we could have bought 10, 20, 30,000 machines and we could be that farm, but we thought if we do that, we're just impacting a small sector of the economy. Maybe 100,000, 500,000 people, 1 million, 2 million people. So let's say we would have gotten with a big farm to 5 million people. 5 million versus 8 billion is nothing.
That's true.
So we wanted to impact the world, not just little, so that's why we said if we get the mini miner to every home, every church, every orphanage, wherever we can get, it will be huge. Now, one thing is this: how is it that we're giving away all this? How are we going to make money, right? I mean, it's business. Well, we thought, if people can see the power of mining, they will know what company brought it to them. So our inventor Raj, he knows what he has. So what he did is that little Raspberry Pi, he was able to make it mine much more than any of the other people that have tried before, with his software, with his patent pending software and hardware. And we saw, he said, you know what, we're not going to show anybody anything until it's there. Because if not, look, right now in the internet, there's those that say the Raspberry Pi is a piece of crap. No way it can do this much. You guys are lying. You're thieves and everything, right?
Yeah, I watched one guy's video. He spent 40 minutes basically saying that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, this is, and then you have the other side, that this is an amazing invention. I mean, wow, you can just imagine every home being able to mine any of the 40 crypto coins that mini miner can do. It's incredible. So either Armin and I and Raj and the rest of the co-founders, we don't know what the heck we're doing, and we're insane, or there's maybe something there. Now, insanity is the beginning of greatness. And the thing is, once people start seeing what we saw, it'll just turn around.
Raj developed the mini miner, which for a product that has had so few pictures and so few images available so far as of this moment, there's a whole bunch of excitement about it. And it's excitement for a number of different reasons. And it turns out that Raj is the man who designed, developed the mini miner, as well as Vista's mining rigs in the Vista Smart Pool. It turns out that the mini miners and the Vista Smart Pool are essentially a system. They work very well together. They're optimized to work very well together, and each supports the overall performance of the other. So I wanted to spend some time with Raj and learn a bit about him, about what this product does, and in some respects to get a feel for how it works. And this is what we did.
So number one, introduction, like you said, to mining, so to speak. Let's take Bitcoin, which was the first cryptocurrency to create the technology, so to speak, and there are other technologies now, but let's take that for an example. Because of the explosion, there's so many transactions, so many people buying Bitcoin. So because of that, the power of computation has increased.
Right, yes.
So as they have increased, the people who actually used to mining is very simple. You're actually helping the network to facilitate transactions and other work that needs to be done in the network. And for the work that you do, that means your computing devices, they actually give you a reward. So you're actually getting paid for the work that you do. And we call it proof of work, As the difficulty levels have increased, the home mining has gone away.
Right. People used to be able to mine on their laptop or something.
That is correct. And it is not profitable, anymore. So miners have become more powerful, more power hungry, energy-wise. Right. And they produce a lot of emissions, extreme heat they put out.
But you see what the difference is. So this is what you will not be getting, and this is also what makes a mini miner or a Vista Network mining interface actually very much a game changer.
In order to actually, create these extremely fast computations, so to speak, some of the machines that you can, that you find in the marketplace, it's $4,500 to $5,000 a machine.
Per machine.
Per machine.
And then they and a mining operation could have hundreds or thousands?
Oh, there are farms, that exist out there. But taking down to a personal level, if you invest $4,500 or $5,000, you think you can take that, fantastic machine home and plug it in. Unfortunately, it requires thousands of watts. Your home electrical, it cannot handle it. Okay, that's number one. So you can't use it at home.
And that's for a single machine. We're talking about a single machine now.
Single machine. You can't even use it at home. Number two, if you're smart enough to plug it into, configure it where your washer and dryer is, where you have 210, that circuit can handle that kind of power, then it's not easy to get it connected to a pole. And we will talk about poles. Because you have to be a tech person, tech savvy, or you have to hire somebody to do it. So that's no plug and play scenario there. Okay, that's another point. So it has totally removed home miners. The idea about Vista and my idea also, that's why we work together, is bringing mining back to the home. Okay, that's number one. Number two, we have to be socially responsible. You look at energy. Do we have surplus of energy in the world? Absolutely not. We have new solar technologies and we have wind technologies. Still the world has, problems with energy that it needs. So to support decentralized currency network and using so much energy to support it, I believe is not socially responsible. So we wanted to come up with a device that anybody can take it out of the box and plug it in, plug and play, and they can actually go out there and support this technology, be part of the movement, at the same time reap some rewards. Sure. And still being socially responsible, where the mini miner, as you mentioned before, it takes only $5 a month in the US. That's in Southern California calculations. $5 a month in energy cost, no noise, absolutely zero noise, and no heat.
Well, one of the other things too that is a new part of this phenomenon is people and being able to literally buy this appliance, let us call this device, but put an amount into the acquisition of such a device, and then by its own operation, it is doing something that actually adds value back to the purchaser.
Absolutely. So you're not going to make millions of dollars with the mini miner, but from the acquisition cost to low energy, cost, it's going to be profitable. Okay, and plus you're learning and understanding what cryptocurrency is. So it's also part of being educated, because crypto technology is definitely the way of the future, absolutely. And everybody who joins in and starts studying it and actually have a device at home running and they're making a profit, they are going to be somewhat called experts, you know what I mean, compared to the rest of the populace, So that's one of the major ideologies of Vista, putting out the mini miner. Going back to the pools, no one can actually, with one device, can go out there, mine solo, so to speak. Okay, it is almost to a point, it is impossible, you know. We're still talking about Bitcoin, so so you have to be part of a pool. When you're part of a pool, there are thousands of people mining, and some of the well-known pools from the beginning, and they have, you know, developed their technology, the interfaces, you know, looks better, it works better, they have added a lot of resources to it, and it's easy to use, not that difficult. But the problem still is the old, I would say, the thinking of the design of these pools and the technology behind it has not, you know, has not evolved.
I was just thinking that word, okay.
So what we have done with Vista Smart Pool is an example, very simple example. Bitcoin, when you're mining, it's all about blocks, you know, blocks. And there are many pools out there, and the pool can find a block, and they start working on it, and all the machines who are part of that pool is crunching all the numbers, doing all the work, and then finally you have to submit it. But there could be a pool, or many pools, worked on the same block, and they submitted before you and did the work perfectly. They earn the reward, you get nothing.
So all that effort goes for naught. You just move to the next one.
That is correct. So with the Vista pool, what we have done is, it's called public ledgers, because it's a decentralized currency. Everything is on public ledger. The pool is smart enough, that's why we call it the smart pool, Vista Smart Pool, smart enough to look at the public ledger, see if anybody has touched that block. And if they have, the pool will go and look for another block.
All right, be first first on scene there.
Right. This way, all the members who are part of the pool, you know, we have a greater chance of winning.
I see.
Okay. Based on that, so a combination of the Vista Mini Miner, and the most important part is efficiency. It's not about hash power, as people always talk about. Hash power, miners can be there very fast, you know, ASIC miners, but at the same time, the efficiency is 72%. So there's a lot of problems when they submit it, okay? But if your miners have efficiency and your pool is efficient enough, you have a greater chance of winning those rewards.
I see. Is Vista's network's smart pool, as more mini miners come online, what is the effect of having it in terms of the percentages? Does it grow with more people coming on board?
Well, of course, it's going to grow as more people coming on board. The chances of winning, you know, several times a day increases, but at the same time, if there's thousands and thousands of miners coming in, those rewards are split between them, you know. So it is an interesting equation, but it's better to join in and put thousands to, you know, mine than not to. Also, one of the things that we have done is we are bringing almost 40 different cryptocurrencies to the pool. So we won't be, you know, the members of Vista, they're not only going to be mining for Bitcoin, but they will be mining for many different other currencies as well.
That's another thing that helps people, in the sense that now that you've got one and you've got this list that you can select from, it starts to get people more into what's actually happening with this coin versus that and stuff like that, which I think is good.
Absolutely, yeah. There's more education. There's a forum there. There's vistalive.com. There'll be a lot of events and talking about, different currencies and so on and so forth. So, everyone who gets involved in it, they're going to definitely, learn about cryptocurrencies for sure.
There'll be a number that can be selected, and is it advisable that one would be mining a single currency at a time? Is that for example, are you choosing one? Is this a selection or decision that's done each day?
Oh, no, it's not each day. I mean, as we bring in more currencies, if a specific currency is going to be more profitable for the mini miner, because it's, it's powerful as it is. I mean, it's not compared to major, computing devices that has major computing power. So, of course, some of the currencies can be much more profitable for the members to mine with the miner. Of course, we will let them know what that is.
Okay, and I will let, in terms of the viewers here, also realize that Bitcoin paved the way in terms of establishing the efficacy of this entire system, but it has also opened the door for a whole list of other altcoins, which are today where Bitcoin may have been, several years ago, and yet they're when I'm talking in terms of value, but they are on a similar ascension, so to speak, in their value because more and more people are starting to use them.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why the excitement in the, globally is because people are actually transacting with these currencies. Not only Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, Litecoin, so on and so forth, and even some of the major online shopping, portals, accepting cryptocurrencies. So it's a very exciting time.
And so lastly, I know people, and I think you kind of hinted at this, where people think and they want to be comparative in terms of talking about hash power or this, that, or the other. And I'm getting the impression that it's not all, I think you actually said it, maybe that's why I'm getting the impression that it's not hash and just raw hash power is not all it's about.
We have, my team and I, we have studied it extensively and tested many devices, with almost every major pools that is out there, and found out you're absolutely correct. It's not only about hash power, it's about being efficient and how efficiently you can submit it. How correctly you can actually do the work is the most important thing. If you make mistakes and you submit it, it's going to come back to you. You're not going to win the reward. So these big machines, even like we were talking about, $4,500 a machine. The end of the day, once you put the power supply and everything else together and get it all configured and so on and so forth, end of the day, with the major pools, they make only $15 to $18 a day.
Okay.
Then they also have the energy cost. Right. So it's, I would say, pretty sad.
Well, it's true. And these are some things really to know and to learn, because since very few people know anything about this, they don't really know what necessarily to expect. So, for example, over the course of a month, a person, not necessarily talk in terms of a day, you might talk in terms of, say, a coin that one is mining, and so over the course of a month, they may get a certain percentage, depending on what that coin is. It could be a certain percentage of that coin. It may be a whole coin, depending on its value, or it could be a fraction of it. That's pretty much kind of the way and then it'll translate into a certain amount of certain economic value.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know, you're going to get fractions of the coin,
Right.
you know, obviously, you know, again, but you're doing it over and over again every day, you know, and it keeps going, you know, through the months, and yes, of course. And definitely you're being part of the movement. You're covering the cost of your device, you know, covering your energy cost, and you're making a profit. And, you know, it also has economical impact for sure.
Well, those to me sound like the components for what we might call a paradigm shift.
Okay.
That would certainly seem to define it for me. Raj, I want to thank you for your time. Also, we won't go into the story of it, but for being the gracious host that you've been today, I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
This announcement comes at a time when a story comes out, just as I get home here, of a grand theft, 600 Bitcoin mining computers literally being stolen in Iceland. The computers are worth $2 million, but this is becoming the norm, not necessarily the stealing, but the centers are so large that it takes large numbers of computers to become profitable still now. And this is where a box miner, a mini miner, becomes more practical, because more people who have miners in places all over the world connecting to a network that is optimized to use them. It actually makes the network more efficient. It allows the network to grow more organically and more, like I say, efficiently, because the computing power is distributed. This is a way to have and allow the Vista network, the Vista Smart Pool, to grow perhaps faster without having to have as much investment in these very, very large facilities, particularly when you start seeing these types of events happen too. Joining Vista Network, purchasing a mini miner is by invitation, by referral link. And if you know someone who is a member of Vista Network who has a referral link, please contact them and get their link, and because that is the way that you can purchase a mini miner. If you don't know someone, please feel free to use the link in the description below. Thank you very much.